So here's the big question. Is Congress going to take out TikTok? In a rare bipartisan move, senators from both sides of the aisle voting unanimously on legislation banning use of the app from all government devices. That provision could also make its way into a $1.7 trillion spending. The House is set to vote on that bill next week.
That's not all. Lawmakers are urging additional action from the Biden administration to address national security issues raised by the widespread use of the Chinese-owned social media app. TikTok hoovers up an enormous amount of personal information off each and every one of our phones, those of us that use it, and that is raising real concerns on Capitol Hill. So for more, let's bring in ABC News' Jay O'Brien, along with ABC News contributor and former official from the Department of Homeland Security, John Cohen. So Jay, first, what are lawmakers telling you is the big danger that they're addressing here? And what are you hearing about how far they're going to go with this?
Yeah, and we've already seen some states take this action, but the action that passed in the Senate this week was to ban TikTok from government devices. It had no opposition, as you said, when it passed in the Senate. Josh Hawley was the sponsor of it, and his characterization is that TikTok is, as he views, a Trojan horse to, as you mentioned, Terry, scoop up personal data, potentially for disinformation as well, pushed by the Chinese Communist Party, because this is an app that's owned by a Chinese company. ByteDance, which is the company in question here, disputes all that. They say they're working with federal regulators to address any of those concerns. But the next question becomes, because it's passed in the Senate, what does the House do? The House has a lot on its plate. Speaker Nancy Pelosi earlier this week got this question at a press conference, what would happen with a potential TikTok ban on government devices. She said it was a very important issue, but then she signaled that there's a lot going on in the House of Representatives this week. As you know, they've got to pass a big spending bill. And so she signaled that it might not be something that gets done by the time that this Congress ends on January 3rd, guys.
So, John, as a former DHS official, put this into perspective for us. You know, the Chinese gathering information through TikTok on government phones. How much of a threat is that really?
Yeah, well, the threat really boils down to two areas. One, as a collection tool. Social media apps like TikTok are designed to not only capture data regarding the social media use by the person using it, but also other data that's on the phone. So if you're using this app on a government phone, other government information that's on that phone is at risk of collection. The second problem is that social media apps like TikTok are used by foreign and domestic threat actors, foreign intelligence services, terrorist organizations, domestic extremists, criminal organizations, to spread disinformation and conspiracy theories and other content intended to sow discord, undermine faith and confidence in the government, inspire violence. So the concern is that the Chinese government could potentially influence the algorithms used by TikTok and funnel disinformation and conspiracy theories and other harmful content using that platform to American consumers and government officials.
Oh, so the threat, we're not just talking about government officials, but everyday users like you, me, Terry, whomever.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the Chinese government has become much more active in using covert information operations, similar to what Russia and Iran has been doing for years. So the concern is that because the Chinese government exercises control over Chinese companies, computer companies and information companies, they will leverage TikTok and the technologies behind TikTok in order to optimize their spread of conspiracy theories and other harmful content.
And Jay, so the concern is not just that the Chinese take so much personal information out of everyone's phone, far more than any other social media app, by the way, even GPS location information. But there's also the Center for Countering Digital Hate. They put out a study that found that harmful content is being pushed to young teens on TikTok every 39 seconds. And by the way, in China, they very severely restrict what gets fed to your teenagers' social media feeds. It's all about science and math and how great China is. We get porn and hate. So how is Congress responding to that and that kind of content on social media in general?
Well, the way Congress is looking at this, guys, is they look at social media writ large. Their sights are set on TikTok, but specifically as it relates to government devices right now, although there are some bills to ban TikTok across the board. One is from Marco Rubio. But the overall effort in Congress relates to how this content is consumed by, as you mentioned, those most vulnerable users on those apps, it's kids. And one of the things we've seen is there is some discussion about including provisions about kids' data or kids' use of the app and harmful content to kids for apps across the board. We're talking about all kinds of social media. There's talk about including that in this new omnibus spending bill that Congress has to pass to avert a government shutdown, but we don't actually know if that's in the omnibus because we haven't yet seen the text of this omnibus. We're hoping to see it early next week and see if some of this legislation has maybe been included in that measure and could pass before the new Congress that way.
So, Jay, one more question, national security threat or not. TikTok is incredibly popular in the U.S. So what would the politics of a full TikTok ban actually look like?
Well, it's harder to get a full ban, as you know, and it's one of the reasons why we're seeing the government go on this step of banning it from government devices potentially before they do anything else. But as I said, there are lawmakers who are pushing for a full ban. Rubio has gone the full distance there and said he wants TikTok off of every device in the United States because of those concerns that we listed earlier, disinformation potentially, and of course, data collection as well. But again, you're seeing Congress go through this step first of laying out a potential ban on government devices before they tackle anything else. And as we've been saying, even that measure would likely face some kind of obstacle, at least in the timing of this, in the House of Representatives. Although it's worth pointing out, there is bipartisan support in this Congress and potentially in the next Congress for a lot of different kinds of actions as it relates to China. So if this doesn't get done by January 3rd, some version of any kind of TikTok ban, there might be an iteration of it come January if lawmakers can get together on that.
All right, Jay O'Brien, John Cohen, thanks, guys, so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.